So this is the puzzle that troubled most of the players, though it was not a difficult puzzle, and most of the players and streamers have actually found the solution by just randomly flipping up the switches, but many of them have not actually realized what was actually the logic behind this puzzle. So I'm here actually to tell you what exactly is going behind in angles and shapes and polygons, what is going behind the scene, and how do you actually solve this puzzle logically, and if any different kind of a puzzle appears for you in the future games, how you will be able to solve this puzzle. So this is the main sheet that is being provided to you in one of the cells. This sheet is actually very important, so just keep that in mind. And now I'm gonna switch to the whiteboard and I'm gonna tell you how this sheet is important and how you can actually choose which of the switches you have to, which of the shape you have to actually choose. So this was the diagram that was given in the sheet, and these are the switches that you can choose from. So the main point of this puzzle is that any figure that you can draw must be, the edges of that shape must align with this diagram. For example, you cannot make a diagram like this because none of this, the triangle edges are actually aligning with any of these lines. If I make a diagram like this, and then this, now you can see that each edge of the triangle is actually aligning with the mentioned diagram. So that's why it is important that each edge of the triangle or any other shape that you are actually making, it should align with the mentioned lines, the diagonals, or whether it's the semicircle portion or the quarter circle portion, it should align with that. The edges of that must align with that. So if you have to make any of the diagram, for example, let's make this diagram. So as soon as you go from here to here, you can see that this is actually the edge, but this is not at all aligning with the previous, the main diagram. So that's why it cannot be the main shape that you can choose. Whereas if you will select this diagram, the second one of the first switch, you can easily draw this on these lines like this, and this. And you can just shade that. So the main point is always that the edges of your diagram must be aligned with the shape that they have already assigned to you. So that's why the first diagram that you can select is this one. The second one, for the second switch, you can see that this Pac-Man type figure, you can go from here to here, then you can go all the way back on these lines. You can go from here and then back this way. So you can actually see that we can actually draw this diagram on those lines. So that's why the second is this one for the second switch. For the third switch, it's simply this one. First this one, hitting this, and then we go from there to there, and we start curving around this circle and back up to the top. And that's why this figure is what we can draw on these lines. because for the second one you can see that this is a square here. We cannot draw a square. It will go completely out of the lines. It won't have any lines behind that on which we can draw. So we can never draw uh, anything beyond these lines. We can always draw on these lines. We have to. Otherwise, that's why there is a key to that puzzle. That was the paper. And this one is top and bottom. And whenever there's a square, you can see that there is nothing of the square sort in this diagram. There are triangles which are larger triangles. There are some semicircles. There are some, you can say, the sectors. You can actually draw sectors, which is also this portion over here. So for the fourth diagram, the fourth switch, first diagram, you can actually easily draw. There are two inverted triangles. First goes here, here, and this one. And then second one is this way, and then this way. So you can actually see that. But you cannot actually draw the fourth switch second diagram. So that's why it's flipped in this way. So this is the right solution for this diagram. And as far as the last switch is concerned, so if you look at the first diagram of the fifth switch, it is going the curve from the start like this. So you can actually see that this is nowhere on the lines. Definitely it's not the right answer, not the right. And if you look at the second diagram of this fifth switch, you can see that it is this, then it is curving on this circle, it is going back in, and then there's another. Basically there are two sectors exactly opposite to each other. So that's why you can actually draw these diagrams. Any diagram that you can draw on the provided figure sketch, that will be considered as a right solution for the puzzle. That will be considered the right shape for the puzzle solution. So that was the main key, and that's how the solution goes for this puzzle. I hope that you will be able to understand this puzzle more clearly and effectively.